the great outdoors. What could be better than a picnic at a secluded lake with your girlfriend Maria? Tommy, being the charmer that he is, convinces Maria to get a little wild and take a dip. Why not? There's nobody around for miles.
Humans are not designed to be in the water. The body's natural reflexes to breathe, to take in oxygen, to blow off carbon dioxide, in a water environment submerged, that can be instant death.
The two lovebirds breathe deeply as they get ready to take the plunge. Tommy's brain signals his diaphragm muscles to contract, pulling air into his lungs.
When the body hits the water, the mammalian diving reflex kicks in.
All mammals have the mammalian dive reflex. It kicks in when nerves around our nose and mouth are put underwater. It helps limit the need for oxygen. The brain responds by slowing down the heart and signalling blood vessels in the extremities to constrict. This forces blood back to the heart and brain. So even though Tommy is just playing, his body is already protecting his vital organs. As Tommy reaches up to grab Maria, she accidentally kicks him in the stomach and knocks the wind right out of him.
A blow to the abdomen causes a spasm of the diaphragm, which makes normal breathing patterns almost impossible.
Maria surfaces for air. But where's Tommy?
Tommy!
Tommy is terrified. His brain is telling his muscles to swim, but without enough oxygen, his muscles are too weak to respond effectively.
Low oxygen levels in the blood can induce agitation and anxiety in the brain, which can make panic much worse.
Tommy's metabolism skyrockets, demanding more of what little oxygen he has left.
Even if you can, say, run 5 miles, ride a bike, you will not be able to necessarily exert that level of stamina in a water environment.
Tommy's not the only one struggling.
It's very difficult to find a body underwater because of differences in light, in visibility, your depth perception, shapes don't always look the same.
If Maria finds Tommy, she'll have to be careful of his panicking body.
Their body is going to react in ways that they can't control. They can actually injure you and even kill you in the process of trying to save them.
Maria's been searching for 2 minutes. Tommy's lungs feel like they're in a vice grip, and his urge to breathe feels explosive in his throat.
The body's impulse to breathe is directly related to the level of carbon dioxide in the blood. When the carbon dioxide levels are high enough, the body's going to take a breath, no matter what the situation.
As soon as the water hits the back of Tommy's throat, he gags.
The voice box spasms. That prevents most of the water from entering the lungs.
But some water gets through and heads down the windpipe and into the lungs.
It goes into the smaller and smaller air tubes, finally down into the air sacs, where there should only be air. Even this little bit of water can damage the lungs.
But water in the lungs isn't what's going to kill Tommy.
What kills you is the lack of oxygen to your brain.
Without oxygen fueling the brain, it shuts down. Tommy's world goes dark. The pain stops, and he falls unconscious. Unless he's rescued in the next few minutes, Tommy will either die or suffer irreversible brain damage. Maria knows that it's now or never, and with a burst of energy, she forces herself deeper and finally sees him. Without air in his lungs, Tommy's unconscious body becomes a dead weight. Maria struggles to keep Tommy's mouth above water. Tommy has no perceptible pulse. Maria begins rescue breathing. Although Tommy's not getting the amount of oxygen he would when breathing on his own, Maria's breaths are keeping him from certain death.
People tend to think of the air that they exhale as being pure carbon dioxide. The reality is the air that you exhale is actually 16% oxygen.
Maria's chest compressions force blood out of Tommy's heart, so it can travel into the lungs, pick up oxygen, and return to the heart to be pumped around the body. Tommy's not responding, and Maria is physically exhausted. But she won't quit on him.
A lot of people will quit too soon, thinking, oh, this person hasn't been breathing for 45 minutes. Oh, they haven't had a pulse for 45 minutes. They have had a pulse. They have been breathing. You've been providing it.
Maria's efforts pay off. Tommy still needs medical attention. If fluid or blood leaks into his damaged air sacs, Tommy could die. It's called a secondary drowning. The day may not have been as great as Tommy imagined, but thanks to Maria, they'll have many more to come.